Happy Friday, Medina City School families, and welcome to this week's edition of the Superintendent's Desk. Today is September 28th, 2018, and we're heading into our final weekend of September. Hard to believe that October 1st is on Monday and we're headed into the Halloween season. Before we know it, it's going to be full-time fall. On today's agenda, the topics I have to discuss with you are in regards to the state safety grant. You may have seen reference to that in the Gazette this past week. I also want to clarify some information regarding a potential bond issue. Also, I've received a few questions about our new math programming down at the elementary buildings, and I want to discuss raising the bar in mathematics for all of our students. And finally, we're going to be entering a process of reviewing our graduation requirements, and I want to offer you more information on that today. First item is the safety grants. Safety grants were provided to all schools across Ohio, and this was due to the recent passage of House Bill 318. The way the safety grant works is that it comes out of Mike DeWine's office. He is our current Attorney General. Districts do not automatically get these funds. Just this week I've received an application where we can apply for funds. The funds are determined by the amount of students that are within a given school district. Our district, Medina City Schools, is eligible for up to approximately $37,000. The grant does outline some of the potential uses for these funds. Most of it goes into academics, training, and professional development, all related to school safety. Since we just received the grant this week, we're in the process of reviewing how we would like to use the grant, and we will be applying for the funds. We're excited to have the opportunity to have a few extra dollars to put towards training, staff development, or preparation for our students in school safety. As you've heard me say before, we do everything we can to ensure that our schools are as safe as they can be. I had spoken a couple weeks ago about a potential bond issue. One thing I wanted to very quickly clarify is the keyword potential. We have not yet made a decision as to whether or not to put a bond issue up. We are in the process of researching, and we are very soon going to be asking for all of your help. And when I say all of you, I mean staff, students, community, parents, businesses. We want your feedback and your input on whether we should be going for a bond issue. I had quickly mentioned that some of the projects that would be on my mind in regards to a bond would be upgrades at Claggett, potential expansion of Claggett to eliminate the trailer classrooms, exploring the possibility of air conditioning in our buildings that don't currently have it, as well as directing more funds towards building safety initiatives across the district. And that would be specifically for physical type things, whether we're upgrading glass or doors or putting more safety areas within a building. Of course, we would not move forward with the request of a bond issue unless it's something that the community makes clear is important to everyone. Our teachers, our aides, our employees do an outstanding job. Is it ideal to teach out in a trailer? No, it's not an ideal teaching or learning environment, but we have outstanding educators, and I know our students are going to get a great education. My goal, though, to you is to promote and make recommendations so that our students can have the highest level of education possible. In order for me to do that, we need to have that collaborative conversation to make a decision on the direction we should go. So the earliest the bond could potentially be on is next November. The latest it could be on is not at all, depending on what the feedback we get from the community is. We do want to make sure that you're well informed, though, as we're going through this process and making this joint decision. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions regarding a potential bond issue. I've had a few parents reach out to me in regards to our new math programming at our elementary buildings. We've spent the last couple years making adjustments and advancements to our math programming both at the middle school and the high school levels. The high school is actually still underway. The elementary buildings, we just started this year with a math program called Bridges. What our goal is with the new math programming across the district is to raise the bar for all students. So our goal is to not only increase academic performance from all students across the board, but also to increase the level that we expect those students to achieve at. You all know that expectations are important, and people generally will only perform to the bar that is set. So we want to set a high bar for student performance. This is a big part of the reason for some of the adjustments that we've made with our math programming. Historically, we would separate students out more into different varying levels of math. What this creates is pre-mapped paths for students to follow in math, and early math courses could impact the ability of students to take higher level math courses up at the higher grade levels, especially once you start reaching 7th, 8th grade, and of course at the high school. With the higher benchmarks and higher standards, we're grouping more students together. That does create a more diverse learning environment, which is a good thing. It creates more of an opportunity for higher performing students, as well as students that might be right at that average level. And ultimately, the research shows that it brings all students' performance up. We are not just jumping into this initiative blindly. We've actually been partnering with Solon City Schools as well as Hudson City Schools. They have both had this math programming implemented for quite a while and have seen a great deal of success for their students. And what it ultimately does, and what our goal is to have our students being challenged more at the lower levels, at all level, so that they will be in the higher math classes once they get to the high school level and be better prepared for post-high school, whether it's entrance into a career, college, or a career training program. We will have information as well as workshops for parents and families throughout the course of the school year. Our curriculum department is working on that initiative. I know many of our buildings have already had open houses related to the math programming to provide you with more information. Well, there's more coming. Please watch for that in the information from your principal's newsletters, as well as on our website. The last topic is graduation requirements. We have made the decision to research our graduation requirements and look into potential changes into those graduation requirements. This directly ties into our strategic plan process in the academic area. Currently, our high school is at the state minimum of 20 credits required for graduation. One of the things we're going to be looking into is raising the required credits. We are actually one of the lowest districts in the area in terms of what our graduation requirements are. From looking at surrounding high schools, they range, most of them, somewhere between 21 to even up to 25 credits required for graduation. And again, we are currently at 20. So what does that mean for our students? That means our students wouldn't have to take another class to graduate, which is a good thing because we want to make sure they have a well-rounded education, get them into more elective courses. If as they're working on their college and career readiness, if science is an interest to them, they should pick up an extra course in the sciences, and that's going to better prepare them for their college programming at the end of high school. Part of the review of the graduation requirements is going to be looking into the entire structure of our grading system, the weighting of grades, our grading scale, amongst other aspects and components of how we determine grades and student achievement in the district. The main initiative is going to be occurring at the high school because this is where this is most detrimental, especially with the graduation requirements. However, it's really a district-wide initiative, and some of the decisions that are going to be made through this process will have an impact definitely on the middle school and even funneling down into the elementary level buildings. We are going to be developing committees. That process is being led by Jeff Harrison, our principal over at the high school, as well as Tina Cassidy and Matt Maddy. They are both curriculum directors within the district. Please watch for further information in regards to looking into graduation requirements. There will be community, student, parent committees. This needs to be a community decision. Not one that we're just making as a district. However, it is time to raise our standards and our expectations for our students, especially in a world of growing expectations for college and career readiness. This is a step towards that pathway. We're looking forward to digging into this. I anticipate that we'll be sharing a presentation with you through our website as well as through our YouTube pages on some of the components that we're going to be looking at, as well as the process for exploring graduation and grading requirements. Please look for those in the not too distant future. In terms of a timeline for implementation of any new requirements, that's all going to come out of the committee exploration. So I do not yet have an answer for that, but the hope is that we have one prior to entering into the spring of this school year. It's been a great week. I'm happy to say it's a beautiful fall day outside with the sun after grilling hot dogs and bratwurst in the rain last weekend for Spirit Night. Come out, see some great football. We got one of the best football teams in the state coming to compete against our Bees. Our Bees are buzzing. It's going to be a great game. Hope everybody has a good weekend. Go Buckeyes as well. Big game against Penn State, and go Browns. I hope everybody had a great week. Thank you, and see you next week.